Hi, this is Aspiring-Aspy blogs with another review. aspy101.com. Autism does not define him is the title of this article. Our son Sam is now 22 years old. Together we have discovered autism from first a stage of confusion, then diagnosis, and ultimately the journey of understanding and adjustment. This journey has been taken by just Sam or me. The education and life-changing decisions include our family of 4 and those whose choice to remain linked to us by love or simple curiosity. Autism became us. As we learn to navigate the educational system, employment and higher education, we've taken you along. And that's 22-year-old. He looks a bit younger than 22. What's his name? I missed his name. Oh, taken by, is his name Sam? Is it Sam or me? Okay, let's see. Though our website, aspy101.com. Okay, so they own this site? Okay, together we reached 4 stories of enlightenment and search for navigating the next stage in life. Now at 22, driving and nearly college graduate, last week Sam reached a personal plateau that bears sharing. With an absolute delivery, he declared, "Autism does not define me." He further went on to explain that up till now he would introduce himself to educators, peers, or those seldom few who initiate conversation as Sam, and I have autism. He felt he owed them an explanation for his social awkwardness, his lack of eye contact, or his seemingly bland behaviour. I did that when I was at college. I was asking people if they noticed I was autistic, or if they noticed I had some sort of similar Asperger's disability, and some of them kind of said yes, and some people just outright don't see it. So I guess it's because my development as social skills went on through the years, but it's still there for some people that can see it. When starting a new course, Sam would introduce himself to the professor and offer a checklist of behaviours that potentially might appear odd or off-putting. See, I might have behaviours, but the thing is, I half the time don't know what they are. But analysing myself would be interesting to find out what my social tics are. I don't think that's the right word, but you know what I'm getting at. Sam felt he would advise the looks of dismay by acknowledging his diagnosis of autism. Sam no longer feels that way. As I listened to my son, who rarely offers such introspect, an overwhelming sense of grateful satisfaction overcame me. Sam had found his stride and genuinely felt contentment with all the wonders that are him. No explanation required. He will, as he put it, be known as Sam the person and not Sam the person with autism. I wanted to share this plateau with you as you make your journey. you experience this feeling for yourself or with a loved one. All things said, we then discussed how he is positioned to take the knowledge of his journey and share it with others. He's just begun theirs. For any young person, finding their strengths while addressing their weaknesses is a big accomplishment. But not all grown-ups do that, so to start young is good. Alright, I lost my place. As I listen to my son, he rarely offers such introspection. An overwhelming sense of grateful satisfaction overcame him. Sam had found his stride and genuinely felt contentment with all the wonders that are him. No explanation required. He was put... Okay, sorry, I have lost my place. I've said that bit. All this said, we then discussed how he is positioned to take the knowledge of his journey and share it with others who've just begun theirs. For any young person, finding their strengths while addressing their weaknesses is a big compliment. Realizing you found that balance while diagnosed with autism, well, it's worth a blog and a bit of a celebration. Yes, I do say so. Okay, that's decent. We take those where we can. I will end this blog with a declarative statement Sam made many years ago. A conference attending mum asked him the question sheepishly, what does it feel like to have autism, and should I tell my son he was just diagnosed? Sam paused a moment and replied, why would you not tell him? He should know why he thinks differently. Don't think of autism as a weight. Think of it as a pair of wings with which to fly. That's an interesting quote. Very good, Sam. That's interesting. So Jennifer Allen, extensive career broadcast marketing. Jennifer and her husband searched for answers when their oldest son hit the kinder years with great difficulty. After learning that their oldest son had Asperger's syndrome, she left her career in television and became a full-time mother to both her sons. Jennifer elicited the participation of her sons, and together her produced several independent programs, including a child's animation series titled Amnesty Kids, now distributed by Landmark Media, as well as her documentary and book titled Coping to Excelling. I've read that article before. Okay, so she's the CEO and founder of this website. Yeah. I know we find different ways as autistic people to integrate into social settings, to be more open, yeah. I wouldn't be very happy if my parents didn't tell me what was causing my difference in brain function, should I say. If I found a decade later that I was autistic and my family kept it from me, that would have been quite a shock. That would have been quite strange. Acceptance is a good thing, because that helps you, you know, it aids the problem, or should I say, it aids the stigma of what society sees it as. I mean, it's not really. Yeah. It's not as much as the stigma as people like it to think. For us neurotypicals, so or is it neuro-untypical? I forget which way, but yeah. Last week, blogs of anchor points. Can't remember the anchor points. So here's some tips for those anchor point strategies and effectiveness. So this is to help young people with autism gain more structure in their speech, in their daily lives. Help your writing flow from one idea to the next. Yeah. Especially if we're visual. To grow and expand ideas. Yeah. So start with some. Okay, so we all need A, B, we need for one thing first to begin with. So to start with, so yeah, a grounding, a basis to begin something with is, quite essential. So next, second, later, also. I'm not sure what that means. And finally, clearly, at least in the end. Next, second, later, also. Finally, clear, at least in the end. I'm not... It's a bit worded. I'm not sure what the words... Teacher model building anchor points as they work with students to debrief strategies modeled in a mini lesson. Students add ideas to an anchor chest as they apply new learning, discovery, interest ideas, or develop useful strategies for problem solving. Yes, okay. Teachers and students add to anchor charts. This is kind of like what I do with brainstorming kind of thing, where you like make a web and you put it out. Brainstorming is a pretty decent tactic for me. Students add ideas to anchor points charts that apply new learning, discovery, interest, ideas, or develop new strategies for problem solving. Number 3, teachers and students add to anchor points as they debrief students' work time, recording important facts, useful strategies, steps in progress, or quality criteria. That sounds decent to me. I mean, that goes with the thing with the higher education with in the last 101, Asperger's 101 I did with goal orientated, to be to orient your routine to further to a goal with a deadline, to be more proficient. So that kind of orientation that could lead to higher educational skills. Students created anchor charts during small groups and independent work to share with the rest of the class. Verbs. Verb. Shows action, touch, clamp, stomp, run, wave, spin, eat, sleep, dance. Yep. Okay, quality indictation. Anchor charts contain only the most relevant or important information so as not to confuse students. Post only these charts that reflect current learning and avoid distracting clutter, hang charts or clotheslines, or set up in distinct places of the room. Rotate charts that are displayed to reflect most useful content. Yeah, so avoid distracting clutter. Especially with me, with my projects, because it can seem hectic and cluttery, but at the same time I'm orienting it in a way that keeps some sort of structure to it, even though it gets harder when it overlaps. But then again, it depends on the subject. Sometimes it can get easier and sometimes it can get harder. And you have to, I have to suss out what would be best for the time. Because I haven't done that yet. What would be best at the time to consume my time with, to actually get decent results out of something, yeah? So that's something for me to consider more. Charts should be neat and organized with simple icons and graphics to enhance their usefulness. Avoid distracting irrelevant details and stray marks. Yes. Because we like to be focused. Autistic people like more, and Asperger's like more focused on, you know, no sidelines as much. Not without being briefed by it first. You know, because if it comes out of the blue, then it is a little bit of a shocker. But you never know. But tarts are best simple, darker. Each tones that are easily visible: dark blue, dark green, purple, black and brown. Use lighter colours for accents only. I guess it depends. Dark blue. I guess if they pop out more, I guess that could be helpful. Lisa received her MA in Special Education with an endorsement in the area of individuals with severe disabilities. Mrs. Rogers has also created products that have been used throughout the state of Texas for training purposes, though the Association for Texas Professional Educators, ATPE, Mrs. Rogers has produced an online course that targets the importance of visual strategies for students with autism spectrum disorder, and just released her highly anticipated book titled Visual Support for Visual Thinkers. That's a nice one, because I was ranked quite high visually thinking as an autistic person when I was tested. My visual skills were higher than most, so that is something seen throughout autistic, the autistic, or I should say, people with Asperger's, neurotypical? Unnormotypical. I'm getting a bit confused, but yeah, you with me? So, okay. Okay.